Hello, my friends. How's it going? I'm just downtown. I don't got a ton of battery left, but I got enough for a quick stream. Yo, Daydream. Shin, what's up? Shan? What's up, my friends? Let's smoke this. Hi, Natalie. I forgot to make you moderator yet when I get home. And you'll rule with an iron fist, I'm sure. Just goes all dictator. This is a crack cigarette. No, just weed. This is a pre-roll I got. $2 for this fucking thing. 2 measly Canadian dollars. Yeah, that's very, I mean, that's totally in character for Natalie. Closet dictator. Everyone knows it. Very militant. I got about 21% left on my battery, so I may stream like an hour or whatever. In general, they're usually like $5, or like, it depends where you go really. The prices vary a lot. Like places with good prices, generally you get them for like $5, or you can get like a pack of 5 for like $15 maybe. It's not gonna be like craft, like AAA weed or anything. I'm not even sure what this is. It's probably just like bottom bag or something if it's $2. No, it's Canada's federally legal. And actually, I don't think you're only supposed to smoke weed in places that you can smoke cigarettes. But it depends where you are. Like I'm at Victory Square right now. And like people like to smoke weed in this park all the time. I don't know, the cops kind of turned a blind eye. So like even if a Karen did call the cops, they'd be like, "Ma'am, this is Vancouver. Just get used to it." Oh, have a good. I thought you told me to have a good shift. I was gonna be like, "You have a good shift." Yeah, another day in the coal mines. 45 for a pack for an eighth of pre-rolls. Did they charge a premium for pre-rolling them? See, a cop just drove by me. There's actually a lot of cops in this area. It's because like east side's right like 2 blocks away. I hope it's good weed. Yeah, actually I ordered some more root bark today. So that'll be here within 4 or 5 days probably. Next week sometime. Business days. And then I'm gonna make DMT pretty much right away. So I'll probably have some by October. October there'll be a lot of DMT videos again. Especially because I really want to try Pharmawaska again and experiment with that. Pharmawaska I think will be great for streams going forward. Like I can experiment with higher doses. It'll last longer, so like I can actually talk to the camera. When you're tripping hard on DMT and you forget where you are and where you came from, how do you not get scared? Well, I've done a lot, but then also I think a lot of that comes back to my core beliefs about what I believe about DMT. A lot of people think like it takes you to another dimension, or like entities from other dimensions are like coming and talking to you and shit. Like, I don't believe in any of that. I think it's just all in your head. Then so when it's over, I pretty much just go back to thinking like, wow, that was really crazy, but also it was just all hallucinations, all in my head. And I firmly believe that. So it's easy for me to go back to that afterwards. I think if I felt like DMT was like these aliens like fucking coming to me from other dimensions and I had a bad trip, if I actually believed that, then that would be pretty fucking freaky. That something, that my stimulation actually was broken for a minute. I don't believe it was. Like, that would be something I'll be freaked out about. If I have a bad trip and like a lot of the visuals I associate with that trip will like freak me out for a while. Like one bad trip I had a green light bulb on. So anytime I turn my light green for the next like month or two, I get this like wave, like this little tinge of anxiety. You know what I mean? But also like the DMT is like linked to my channel, and a lot of people come this. So like, it's when you're motivated to do DMT for a reason like that, it makes it less scary too. Which I don't know if that's like the best reason to be doing DMT. It's both. It's like, I wouldn't have done as much DMT this year if I didn't have my channel. But it's not, there's never been a time where like I really don't want to get high right now, but I got it for the channel. It's always like, should I get high again? I mean, it would be good for the channel and I also want to, so sure. So it's been a pretty psychedelic filled year. And even, I do get scared though. I still do get scared almost every time I do DMT. I think I've gotten good at forcing myself through it. Sort of like a lot of things are like that are hard. Like, I compare it to asking out a girl a lot, because it's a lot of the same things. It's like you're like going through these motions that feel like everything in your body's telling you like, don't do this. This is hard to do. And it's like hard, but then it's like I want to date people, so like I force myself through it. I wait for an impulse where it's like I could even go in like that day to work or school or whatever and be like, I'm not gonna ask her out, I'm not gonna ask her out, I'm not gonna ask her out. Then 2 seconds before, I'll get like this impulse, so I'll be like, maybe do it now. And then I've learned that when I get those impulses, I just follow them, even though I really don't want to. And then a lot of the times it like doesn't work out well, but I hate wondering what could have been, you know? That's the worst for me. So with DMT, it's like I really I know the potential that great trips can have, and that I think is what pushes me through the fear. It's the good trips. If I only had bad trips, I wouldn't do it. I had a wild one a few days ago. I want to continue, but I tell you, my brain really did shut off for a second. I was lost in the future. Sometimes really weird stuff happens. Like sometimes I get physical things that feel like I'm not even sure if they were hallucinations or not. Like, I'm pretty sure some of the physical shit that happens on DMT is real. So when that happens, like when things happen like where your brain shuts off or something, that's what really freaks me out, because that's based in reality, or I think it might be. It's hard to tell sometimes if hallucinations are physical or just hallucinations. So those ones actually do freak me out, because that's not anything about like entities or different dimensions, which I don't believe in. It's just like a physical fucking thing happening to my actual body. Like one time I smoked chonga, and the MAOI in it made my hands tingle for like a good half hour after the trip was done, which was the first time I did DMT and had actual physical effects like that. And so that really freaked me out off chonga for a while. Actually, I will say, yeah, I guess I do get scared from DMT. Maybe just this year I haven't had as many scary physical things happen like that. The simulation breaking, like when that trip was happening, was freaking terrifying. It was just, I felt so relieved when it ended, like a nightmare. It's sort of like a nightmare for me. It's like you wake up, it's like, holy fuck, that was a crazy nightmare. Chonga, yo, polar plates, how goes it? I do listen to Wu-Tang. Not like religiously or anything. I'm a really big fan of ODB, just as a person, and his rap, but like, he's had some pretty fucking janky songs. Yeah, I love Wu-Tang. I don't listen to any of them really much individually. little Raekwon maybe, a little ODB. But I love the Clan. Yo, the Slice and Dice. How's it going? Favorite strain? It goes good. It goes good. The Slice and Dice. How are you? My favorite strain would be for just the high, like overall. There's this one called Black Diamond, which is pretty popular in Vancouver. I think it's like a pretty local, like a local favorite sort of thing. But whenever my dispensary I go to has that, I always get that. It's like a really strong kush. Why is that dude honking? Fucking people are asshole drivers here. I saw this guy freaking out at a guy who, yo.
Watch my bike, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, buddy.
You got it. Yeah, someone was like honking at this guy because he didn't like run this yellow, and it's like this like old like guy who like I don't even think spoke English. He was just like an old feeble man, and this guy behind him was like in his Mustang. He's like, "Yo, you're gonna cause a fucking accident. What are you doing?" It's like freaking the fuck out of him. I'm like, "What are you doing, dude?" I gotta watch this guy's bike. You ever get that where it's like, "Hey, can you watch my bike?" Hey, if a robber comes up with a gun and takes the bike, he's gonna get the bike. Like, I'm not a superhero. I'm not Batman. No, I get it. I'm a deterrent. I'm a deterrent. I'm a walking deterrent. And I stole that joke from Chris D'Elia, made that joke the other day on his podcast. I stole that completely. I have to be honest. Sometimes if I take one-liners, I'll just, you know, it's understood that you can just take one-liners from people, but not a whole bit. Watch my baby? I'd watch a baby. They better come back though. Favorite movie? I was just talking about this with my friend. Okay, American Psycho, I think, is my favorite movie. Gun to my head, American Psycho. I love dark comedies, and that's a really dark comedy. Like, it's like not, there's like no comedy, it's just dark. Then I also really love The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman.
Cheers.
Yeah, no
Thanks,
problem.
bud.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Have a good day.
Good day.
And then I also really like, what's it called? Yeah, The Graduate and American Psycho. Predestination is also a really cool film that I like. Also, with Ethan Hawke. And then also Good Time. Good Time is a really good movie. That's actually the movie I recommend most to people. It's not my top movie, but it's like the one I feel like is probably the most accessible on my list of favorite movies. It's just a really good, it's a good time. It's with Robert Pattinson, and the movie takes course over a night, and he's like trying to get his brother, who has like a learning disability, out of like jail or something like that. I forget exactly what happens, but it's very entertaining start to finish. Yes, and Bancroft was very gorgeous. She was really sexy in that movie. And I liked it. It was just like kind of a cute, funny movie. Dustin Hoffman's really funny in that. Where do I see my channel in the next 2 years? If you want me to be specific, in 2 years I would like to be at 50K. The growth, it's very up and down. So it's kind of scary, like it's sporadic. Like during my highest period of growth, I was getting like 100 and something subscribers a day for like a few weeks. And then at the lowest periods, it'd be like 10, 15. So assuming it continues to be sporadic like that, I think I could maintain the growth. So I think, I don't know, 50K would be like a pretty modest goal for 2 years. My ultimate goal is like to get to 100K. I think I could do that. Like if I get back to that 100 subscriber a day zone, then I'll definitely be able to hit that. But like the algorithm, the way it works is it picks videos that it'll pull into its favor and push out of its favor. And when it takes one of my videos into favor, then the subscribers start going up. And then it just seems random, like when it's good to your videos, when it's not. But I'm pretty confident. Like, you guys give me so much confidence this year. The first year is about building confidence, and I got a lot of ideas in the vault, like for big videos, like really big ideas. And also next year I'm gonna really it's hard for me to like work on something like consistently, like every day, like in a schedule, like all organized like that. So this year I'm sort of just trying to get used to that. Then next year I'm really gonna like treat it like a fucking job. And then I feel like if videos I put out already have done as good as they did, I feel like that future videos I have ideas for will also do good. If I put in that much effort and people like them as much as I hope they will. But yeah. Once COVID goes away too, I want to do a lot of like public interaction videos. And yeah, I want this to be my like job though, so I'm going all for it. If like, money will run out eventually, so like at one point maybe I'll have to go back to work part-time, but I don't think I'll ever do anything else full-time again if I can like maintain this. Even like if I'm making like minimum wage, I would honestly rather do this than make like, well, obviously there's a point where I'd do anything for like $1 million or whatever. Like I'd mine some coal for a couple of years anyway. But overall, I'd rather like just do this. I don't know. I realize like I don't need a lot to be happy. Like there's some material things that I am materialistic about. Like I like to have a decent computer, decent guitar, some gadgets like some microphones and some recording stuff, a camera. Outside of that, like I want what I need to be able to be creative. I love being creative. It's like my favorite thing. I've always said like passion is like my biggest value in life, like over like money or like career or whatever people value, children or something like that. I don't have kids, by the way. That would be terrible to say if I had kids. Hopefully YouTube shows your type of content though. Oh yeah, they're kind of harsh on weed channels, John Jones. But you know what? I think there's ways around that. Also, I think YouTube, the direction they're heading, and just society in general on drugs is less harsh. Like YouTube is less harsh on that content today than they were like 2016, 2017. And I think that trend's going to continue because YouTube really only allows what they perceive is a reflection of how the public feels. Like, so if they are harsh on weed channels, it's just because society generally is against weed, which is changing now. So once like society is generally for weed, which it pretty much is now, I think, then I think YouTube's going to reflect that. Because ultimately they're just trying to keep the advertisers happy, and the advertisers aren't going to associate with anything that they feel will hurt their brand. And that relies on just how the public feels about shit. And psychedelics especially have made a lot of progress in acceptability in the last decade. Yeah, Natalie, I'm going to definitely do some more Elliot stuff in the future. It's just hard, like when the channel's like, it's like at an important stage, like the beginning growth stage. Once I'm more like, I feel more comfortable that I can maintain the growth, which, I still have no idea. Then I'll be able to like do more shit like that, like Elliot and music. But I don't know. It'll always be like a psychedelic channel though. I don't want to like do the old bait and switch. But definitely, I'm gonna, like, if my channel gets big, I'm gonna use like the following to try and like, you know, I'm gonna put more music out. It's so hard to get anywhere on YouTube with music, just because there's so much of it, and people really don't want to listen to original music from someone that they don't even know who it is. And I even get that to a degree. It's just like, a lot of it is like bad, first of all, but even if you're good, it's like people don't really care about that stuff unless they know who it is. That's like my advice for like anyone with like a really small music channel. It's like, try and make another type of video that can bring in viewers, and then push the music on them once you got them trapped. Yeah, do it, Polar Plays, because I think like YouTube is starting to lighten up on that stuff. Also, I don't monetize my videos related to drugs anymore. Because if I try to click the thing where you self-rate your video, I put the swearing one. I swear a lot, but advertisers allow that now. And then I click the one for under drugs. I click the top category, which is like educational content. And every time I click that, YouTube demonetizes my video, and they're like, and they warn me. They're like, you're filling out your questionnaires wrong. So now if I click the one that's like non-educational comedic drug use, I click that one and I get the yellow monetization thing, which generally means it's not monetized, except for like some advertisers, I guess, will run ads on those videos, which is fine. Like I'm not looking to make money off ads at all for the first year. Any ad money I make is like a huge unexpected freaking bonus. Then next year I'll start like, well, I'll have to make it more professional. I got a lot of plans though. At the end of the day, I don't ever want it to feel like the channel is any less than what it is now. If you don't like, you know, I'm gonna have like premium memberships eventually, but I don't want it to ever feel like it's like it's not a free channel, you know, to watch. I'm just gonna like, I'd love to do this so much as a career. I'd just work my fucking ass off and put out like extra shit. Also, I'm upgrading my PC very soon. I keep saying that, but then as soon as I said that, crypto like crashed that day, and now I don't want to take crypto out. So I'm gonna wait again, to build back up again, and upgrade my PC. And then that's also like bottlenecking my output. So that'll change soon. What other plans? Also, I want to like make a segment of the community or my channel about addiction and helping people like in that, because I got a lot to say about that. But then at the same time, I like, still have like my own problems and stuff. I drink like a motherfucker, and like, yeah. So it probably wouldn't. It'd be weird if I did that now. So, but I do got a lot to say about addiction, meth addiction specifically. In Vancouver too, I want to like go around and interview like meth addicts. Like I had an idea for a video like asking 100 meth addicts why meth is so addicting, and then just give them like, I don't know, like $5 to answer a question for me. Just like a 20-second answer, and then just like cut that into like, I think that would be like, because I'm trying to think of things that I know about, but also would be clickable stuff that is interesting to people. So that's an idea. I have like an addiction part of my channel. I want to write a book in the next 5 years about addiction. Meth addiction in particular. And then just because like I don't know, every addiction is so like there's a lot of overlap. Obviously, all addicts share, but every drug has its own uniqueness or lures the same type of people. Like I have a lot of theories around meth addiction. Like people with dopamine deficiencies seem to be more drawn to it. There's a lot of misconceptions about the drug I want to clear up. There's so much attention on heroin in Vancouver because people are like overdosing and dying from it, understandably. But in terms of outside of like the overdosing thing, like meth is just as prevalent and prominent of a problem as heroin, but it gets like no attention, and then the attention it does get is like all like not like the wrong type of attention. Like people like make fun of it almost. Like people laugh, people like, oh, you're gonna clean your house for 20 hours straight? It's like that's not what happens. My house wasn't clean when I was a meth addict. Or like, oh, you must probably just go to the club and socialize with people all day. It's like, no, it's like usually a very lonely, isolated thing where you don't have any energy at all because you're up constantly. And people say, oh, you probably have no teeth. That's like, the meth doesn't rot your teeth away. It's like people stop taking care of themselves, especially with that. Like you get obsessive to the point where you'll sit and do the same thing where you won't even get up to drink water or go take a piss. You'll be sitting there wanting to take a piss for like 4 hours straight. So I think people like do that with their teeth, which is just something I was conscious about. I brush my teeth. Yeah. Like if you did meth like one time, sure, you'd go and talk to people. You might get obsessed with cleaning your house, or you might go to a club and be energetic. But no, like I don't meet casual meth users really. Very, very rarely. And there's just a lot of that stuff. Like I don't know, people like look down on them almost, which I almost think they should. I think like an addict should feel some degree of shame to a degree, you know, like there should be something or some external force like trying to push people away from that, because it will fuck up your life. But then like I don't know, it's like crack also gets the same thing, but it's not really much of a problem these days. It still is among older people especially, but like for some reason like there's so much sympathy for heroin or fentanyl addicts as there should be. But then meth addicts, it's always like, I don't know, people see them as like lesser than a heroin addict, but they like make fun of them more for some reason. And it's just like such a painful like addiction to go through. It's horrible. So anyway, Hitler's scientist created. That's right. He used to get a shot of probably the best meth ever in his ass like every morning. I always imagined that D-Day was lost as a joke in my head, that he lost D-Day because Hitler slept in that day. He was up for like 6 days. He slept in, and they're like, Adolf, wake up. They're on the beach. And he's like, no, I'm too tired. Not like he was a good strategist anyways, so it would have made a difference. He's a horrible strategist. What does it feel like? Yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions about the high too, like because it's such like a powerful, devastating drug to your lifestyle. People also assume that the high is like you'll be out of this world, or like, I'm not saying you assume that or anything, but like the media will portray it that way. But like day one, if you're fully rested, if you don't have like a tolerance to it, and you smoke or shoot up or whatever, snort really good meth, it's like really clean. It's like a really, really clean high. It's like floods your mind with dopamine. So it's sort of like it's like a feeling you already know, just like times like 5. Where cocaine's sort of like that too. It's like very dopamine heavy, but cocaine will also like change your perceptions a bit, like, and meth will too, like if you're up for days. But like yeah, that first, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'd say that's true about heroin. Or okay, I'm not sure. Maybe you're saying the same thing as me. Like heroin, like for your body, actually is like it's not really bad at all. It's like what it does to your lifestyle, and then also the overdose potential and the withdrawal. Obviously, is very physically destructive, but meth is like neurotoxic. It is pretty bad for your body, but also that's not the worst part of it. You stop eating, you stop sleeping, and you don't drink enough water. And but meth, even if you take care of yourself, which is really hard to do, it's really hard to keep it like a casual high. Where I've heard of like heroin addicts that'll like shoot up in the morning, like go to work and stuff. But there's a lot of that with meth too. Actually, probably more so. But I think meth addicts think they can hide it a lot when they probably can't. But if you slept, ate, drank water, I think meth is still bad for your brain. There's not a lot on that really, just because it's like the people deep into like a meth addiction 20, 30 years now are like the first people who have. It didn't become a street drug till like the 90s, really. I started when I was like 20, and then I went to rehab when I was 26, and then I struggled on and off for the next 4 years. So about 10 years, but 6 like really bad. And then for the couple years after, rehab was easy, because like rehab was like, you can't get it, you're there on your own will, unless you're court ordered there, then it would be a nightmare, I imagine. But if you decide to go and you're there and you're with like people, you don't have to worry about like work or anything like that. You're there with people like-minded people, cool people. So there's a lot of like good, fun conversation. And then also like, if you've been trying to hide your addiction from everybody, it's very cathartic to like finally vent and like talk about all this shit that you couldn't tell people about in your everyday life because they just wouldn't understand or they don't know about it. So it was very satisfying and cathartic in that way. And like those 90 days were easy, relatively speaking, because when I got out, that's like when it really gets fucking hard, because then you gotta go back to your life and you got to fix whatever was driving you to the addiction in the first place, which for me it was like depression and like loneliness and stuff like that. And it's really, really hard. Really hard. You got to change a lot, and you got to like bite the bullet for like a long time. And then, yeah, some people, if they got like predisposed to mental disorders like psychosis or schizophrenia, meth will really fuck you up. I knew people that would smoke meth and they'd be like, yo, check it out, it's Joaquin Phoenix. Literally. That's something that happened. And they do stuff like that, like get psychotic right away. I never got psychotic, even when I was up for like 5 or 6 days. I would see shit and hear shit, but I would be like, oh, look, that's a crazy hallucination. So for some people, like, now it's a drug that really affects everyone differently. Some people, it can wreak havoc on their mental. Also, I don't feel like my thoughts flow as well as it would if I never smoked it. I feel like it's affected how psychedelics hit me and how other drugs hit me. And maybe that'll come back in time, but it's already been like, I don't know, a handful of years since it was really bad, so whatever. Hear stories people ejaculate from the amount of dopamine hitting their brain at once. Is that true or just stories? I can't say for sure if that's true or not. I've never heard of that. I don't know if that can happen. You hear of like, I don't know, you hear of people thinking their way to ejaculation. There's a famous YouTube video of that guy who's just like sitting there coming. Or like, I know women especially like can like trigger like orgasms through other things outside of like sex. So like, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if that were physically possible. Yeah. I lost a lot of friends too. And when I started doing drugs in high school, even like when I first started smoking weed, I remember like kids broke into 2 different crowds. Then it's not like I was an asshole or like difficult to be around, or I'd like steal from my friends or anything like that. I was just like, it's crystal meth. It's like, you know, I'm not gonna hang out with a meth addict. Also, it made dating like really fucking hard. I'd have to date like other like fucked up people, or just go on like one night stands and get like clean for like a few days or whatever. I could never maintain a relationship with someone who wasn't an addict. That never happened. I'd always be forthright with everyone who I dated, right away. Just because, maybe not if it was like a one night stand or whatever, because then it doesn't matter. But like, if I was like looking for a relationship, I'd always be like very open right away, just because like I want people to know what they're getting themselves into. Everything literally false. Maybe Vinlandic. Sometimes I really think it's a simulation, but then like sometimes I'm not sure if that's a bad thing. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe the idea of spirituality and simulation are one. Like maybe technology and life merge at one point. And so maybe it's not like a cynical thing or a bad thing to think the universe is a simulation. Maybe that's the exact same thing as saying there's a God and stuff. Or maybe after life's over, we wake up in a fucking a place called life simulators, where you go in for a day and you just like simulate a life. If that's the case, that's like vanilla sky shit. If that would be the case, then I hope whoever I wake up as is still me. Like I hope I don't wake up as like some guy named like Xandu on some other planet with like some totally different personality. Like, oh yeah, I was this like weird like fucking psychedelic Dustin guy, and just have like a total shitty personality. Like I hope like whatever happens after life, if it's not nothingness, which I mean, let's face it, it probably is. I hope it's like I get to be me still, you know? Or if we like go back into the collective conscience, that's another like theory I think about sometimes, where we're all one, we're just redistributed into bodies which determine our personalities, our brains, but we're all the same essence before we're filtered through a brain. Then what would that be like? Would it be like being one person? Would it be like being infinite people at once? Then when I was on mescaline a few weeks ago, I felt like objects were alive, which is also another theory I think about. Like, this is more like a cold scientific theory I have, but like, if you think about it, all things in the universe are made of the same 255 elements, or I think there's sometimes they like discover ones or something, but like, or like create ones or something, like Einsteinium, what's that? But generally the same things, like oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, all that. And so like, if I'm made of these building blocks, and this concrete slab is made of those building blocks, just in different configurations, then really what difference is there between organic and inorganic material? Which then leads me to think like, well, how are humans different from objects? Like, at what point did bacteria or whatever evolve enough to be, oh, it's a life now, it's organic now? Because it's all made of the same building blocks. So sometimes I think humans might just be very advanced objects. And like evolution acts the same way on every element, right? So it's like, this brick is like evolving. It's just like there's nothing there to evolve. There's like a configuration of atoms that came together that's evolved into like a monkey or a human or a fish or whatever we started from, you know? So I think evolution is just like objects taking a certain path. And so I think humans, this is probably a theory I believe in most, actually. I think humans are probably just really advanced objects that are aware of themselves. And then so when we die, we just turn back into the building blocks. And that consciousness goes away. You know? I don't believe in that more than anything else. Or I don't believe in anything. I'm just saying, like, if I had to, like, pick a theory from my, like, bag of theories, that one, I think, seems to make the most sense in this reality. But then also, simulation theory, I think, is more likely than, like, any religious explanation I've ever heard of, for sure. So, I don't know. I believe in a lot of different things. Mainly, I just believe in we don't know anything. I think humans have only been around for, like millions of years, or wherever you want to start it. We've only really been smart for, like, universally speaking, like the blink of an eye. So the universe has been around here for billions and billions of years. And to think like humans are like special or unique when it comes to life, I think is pretty naive. I think like what we're going through, Earth, this technology, like I think that's probably come and gone maybe like near like infinite amount of times in this universe, maybe in other universes. Like I don't think exists like everything has been around for 9 billion years. You know, I think that's just what we can see physically. And then that's only if the Big Bang Theory holds up true, you know? So I just think we don't know fuck all about any of that. But I think ultimately it's all here for a reason. It can't not be. How can something come from nothing? What is nothingness? I don't know. I think in the end it'll all be good though. It'll all be good. I only have 5% left on my battery. Died a bit quicker than I thought. I just smoked a pre-rolled joint Morty. It was a cheap $2 pre-roll. Any questions here? Quick question. What's a good dose of mushrooms for somebody to try for the first trip alone at home? I'm getting some visual, but nothing overbearing since I'll be home alone. Is it your first trip ever or just first trip alone? And if it's your first trip just alone, how much did you do the first time? My first trip, I did an 1/8 with friends, and that's a pretty heavy dose for the first time. It was maybe the most memorable psychedelic experience I had in my life. It was amazing. I always err on this a little more than people tend. Like when people are like, do like a gram your first time, I always think like, that's probably not a good idea. Like an underwhelming trip isn't fun either. Like, and the first trip is always the best trip. So like, you don't want to waste it. Obviously you don't want to do too much though. So like, I think 2.5 grams. Most people say 2.5 might be too much even. But so I would say like 2 grams. If it's like your first time or one of your first times, I doubt you'd be underwhelmed with that, and it would be really hard to be overwhelmed with that. But it'd be a lot harder to be overwhelmed with that. So if you're feeling a bit risky, or if you tolerate stuff well, I suggest even going up to 2.5 or 3. Like I did an 1/8, and it was amazing. If you're in a good mood and everything in your life is chill and stuff, and you're like a mentally stable person, then I feel like it would be hard to not have a good time on an 1/8 of mushrooms in a really good environment. And yeah, that's what I'll say. I smoked meth hit markers throughout my 20s. Smoked it, among other things with it. Last time I smoked, I think last year, actually, near the beginning of last year, at the end of my semester, I had a couple hiccups. There were like a couple like one-offs. I took like a week off and just like binged. School is actually a really good thing to help me stay clean. Having something on the horizon is key for anyone trying to get off of anything. Yeah, my grandma was 101. My great-grandma was 101 when she passed years ago. But when you turn 100 in the Commonwealth, you get a letter from the Queen. She got a letter from the Queen. A pre-written letter, but it's signed by the Queen. Doesn't include your memories. Yeah, but maybe the memories created here are based off of like some soul that has some sort of essence. But yeah, probably not, I'd imagine. And that sort of ties into the collective conscious theory, how we're all the exact same essence, like a pure being. And then personality arises when some of that essence travels through a physical thing like a brain. My phone might just shut off randomly here. I'm just reading through the final messages to see if there's any more questions here. Sorry if I don't answer by the time my phone shuts off. Oh yeah, Edson. Don't worry, the DMT trip reports are going to resume in October. I simply just ran out. And I figured it'd probably be good to take a little bit of a break, but I just ordered some root bark today, actually. And I'll have some more DMT by the end of the month. So yeah, I've been itching to get back to those two. Just because I love DMT, and then also like, you know, it's good for the channel, the DMT. Double stacked E-pills, Supermans, Mercedes, Blue Dolphins, Hondas. Oh yeah, but I don't know if you can go by like the stamp really, because like I've had like Blue Dolphin, for example, was a really popular stamp in Canada, but I've seen Blue Dolphins like for years. It's like a marketing thing. Like there's probably an original Blue Dolphin and people were like trying to copy it, like the Batmans or the Goombas with 2CB. I'm starting to shiver. I gotta put on a sweater soon. Everything comes from nature, even tech. Maybe tech turns into nature though again, like it's a cycle. But that's sort of like saying the same thing though. It's like looking at it differently though. Or I don't know, maybe I'm not articulating my thoughts clearly enough. Bioluminescence is when two crystals come together and they emit light. Just like DMT is a crystal, when we smoke it, our brain glands emit light. I've never heard of that. Oh, you've heard that. Interesting. I've heard that about bioluminescence, but the latter part sounds like I don't know. That could be true. Just based on not looking it up at all, it sounds like maybe an old wives' tale or something, but who knows? There's a lot of like, I don't know, people like a lot of like, they want everything related to psychedelics to be like beautiful and have nice imagery and have an almost supernatural element to it. I think it's more just like there is that, but then like I don't. That just sounds like something that would be really cool if it were true to someone who did psychedelics. You know what I mean? But maybe. Liberty caps here, but only $1,000. Oh, if you only have, well, okay, I've done mushrooms. I've done 1.5 gram doses, like with friends chilling, and like, it's still good. It's still like enjoyable, but it's not like I just did a really small trip the other night where I just did like 2 grams, and I didn't even hallucinate at all. My tolerance was up a bit, but it put me in a good mood and everything. But if you have 1 gram and you really want to do them, then do them. It depends. Like, can you easily get more? If you can easily get more, I would get more. 1.5 though, you know, if it's a bit of a pain to get more, or it's going to take a while, then yeah, I would do them. Like acid is more like not fun when you do an underwhelming dose for me. Mushrooms is like pretty good, even at low doses. But like acid is like very anxious and like anxiety at really low doses for me. It's different for everyone, you know. Yeah, 2 grams for a first dose seems to be about the standard. So, you know, if your tolerance is really low, Gem, which mine hasn't been for a long time, so it's like, I don't know if I'm the best person to ask even. But I think 1.5 would be good. Like, I don't want to talk you out of it, and then you would have otherwise had a great time. It's like I said, once I had 1.5 grams of really good shrooms, and Liberty Caps are good, and had like a surprisingly really good time. Temptations, hit markers, rare. I don't get them much at all anymore, really. When things are going good, then I don't really think about it. Sometimes though, I'll wake up and it'll be like the first thing on my mind. Or sometimes if I get a whole bunch of money in my pocket, sometimes like in the back of my mind I'll be like, yo, I could just have like the best month of my fucking life if I wanted to. And then but then I've learned also that feeling only lasts, it doesn't last that long. It'll last forever if I follow it and give into it. But also right now, like, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I think about it. It's weird. I forget what it's like. Like, it was such a familiar feeling and activity to me. But now looking back at thinking of smoking and stuff, it seems like it was all a dream. Like, I forget what it was like. Am I going live again soon? Maybe when I get home. I got to make my way home. I had a couple drinks, so I took the bus down. So won't be back there for another hour and a half. Actually, I could stream on the bus. No, never mind. I don't have my USB cable. Should have brought it with me. They have USB on the bus now. Did psychedelics help me get clean? I think I would have been able to with or without them. I did psychedelics after I got clean, but it wasn't for that. Well, maybe it kind of was. It's fun to have something to look forward to in terms of getting fucked up, you know? Like, I still like to get fucked up, you know? And so booze, I drank more when I started getting clean, which was not a good thing. But also psychedelics is like, I think it does help me stay clean. I'd probably be more bored if I didn't do them, and boredom is like my worst enemy. So I think they have probably had a bigger effect than I realized. Hey, Cleanie. Ryan. Yeah, that's what I thought for a long time too, Ryan. But then one time I had like a gram and a half of really good shrooms. And we were all like, the guy gave them to me and a couple other friends were all like, are you guys like actually like kind of high? Oh yeah, see, hit markers did 5 grams. And yeah, 5 grams can be pretty intense. Like, I remember doing that dose when I had not much experience, at moments where I was like, oh, this is intense, but 95% of the trip was like pure joy and happiness. Nice to not see you. You can't see me. But literally I'm at 1% now, 2%. First time... Oh, are you asking me? I can't read because my brightness went down, but if that question's for me, my first time on psychs was mushrooms. An 8th. Yeah, that was the first time I did psychedelics. And it was amazing. I did ecstasy before that. People consider that a psychedelic now, I guess. Which seems to be like a new thing. But alright guys, my phone is shutting off now, literally.